Alright, this is Bob coming at you. Today we're taking a look at the Glock G20. For those of you that don't know, the G20 is the 10mm auto version of the Glock. And you know, with the 10mm version, you know, what we've got is a bigger pistol. The slide's wider, the frame's wider, you've got a longer trigger pull, or at least the reach to get to the trigger pull. And it's a little bit heavier. It's a hefty little gun. And what we've got here is a safe weapon, nothing in the chamber, you know, no magazine in it, safe weapon. Anyway, first off, I was not looking for a Glock when I got this pistol. This kind of came across in a trade. I was looking for a 10mm. I was looking for a Kimber or a Smith & Wesson. The Glocks, I've had a love-hate relationship with these things over the years, and I've never owned one more than a couple months. I've tried to like these. I've tried to appreciate them. If anything, I could appreciate the reliability. But, you know, something comes out that's new, something that's better looking, you know, it's like, let's trade in the Glock. It's ugly. You know, let's get something new to try out. But with anything, you know, how often do you go to a gun shop and you see a beautiful gun behind the gun case, you get it in your hands and you hold it, and oh, it feels so good, the trigger feels so good, then you get out to the range, you fire some rounds through it, and it doesn't quite feel like you expected. What you thought was pretty doesn't perform all that great. You know, it's like, you know, the girl in class, you know, the blonde, you know, that, you know, everybody's oogling over, and, you know, she's dumb as, you know, a bag of potatoes. You know, it's, you know, you're judging a book by the cover, that's what I'm saying. And with the Glock, I have found that this is the complete opposite. We have something that's ugly. It's not very good looking. It doesn't have sleek lines. It's not nice and thin. It's, you know, it has no external safety on it. It has ugly combat sights. You know, it's a Glock. And Glocks are just big and bulky and ugly. But I have found, if you spend some time with them, and we're talking quality time, I'm not talking like the 2 months like I did before, where you have this thing and, you know, end up trading it in right away, but actually get to know it and spend some time with it. I found that my perception of this firearm has turned, you know, completely around. You know, I really had a paradigm shift with this pistol, and at this point, I don't see ever getting rid of this thing. You know, the 10mm round is a great round. It's what drew me into this pistol. And if you're not familiar with the 10mm, but you're intrigued by it, you know, get out there and research it. Pistol aside, you know, the 10mm round, you know, performs better than a .357. Almost as good as a .41 Magnum. You know, and the .357 Magnum, you know, up until recently has been my favorite round. You know, high velocity, flat shooting, and, you know, you can fire multiple calibers through, you know, one if you've got like a revolver. But, you know, I'm going to let you in on a little bit of secret too. Glock G20, 10mm. For me, it's also a 40 Smith & Wesson. I have been known to run 40 through my 10 if I'm out of 10. You know, if you have data out there that tells me how unsafe I am, you know, let me know, and let me see some links to what you have here. But I really don't think this thing's going to blow up if I'm firing 40 through it. This thing is built like a frickin' Russian tank, you know, and it's built to handle the velocities of, you know, the 10mm. And the 10mm is about 250 feet a second faster than, you know, your standard 40. And, you know, it's it's built extremely well. You know, the bullet diameter is exactly the same on the 10 millimeter as it is on the 40. And you know, I've run, you know, a few boxes of 40 through it. I've never had, you know, a failure to feed, never had a failure to fire, never had a failure to extract. Just like with the 10 millimeter. I have never had an issue with this gun. It's reliable 100%, and I do keep this in the nightstand. Good thing about that is it does have a rail on it, and I do have a light to put on it. This is your cheap type weapon light. I got this in a trade, and you know, it's worked really well for me. You know, it's not a surefire, you know, and it's not a stream light, but it works really well for me, and it's really bright. So, you know, I'll keep that thing around for a while. Magazine capacity, you know, you get a couple mags, and these are 15 rounders. You know, 15 plus 1 in the chamber, 16 rounds of, you know, better than 357 Magnum, you know, power, velocity, and knockdown. This has exactly what I want in it for protecting the house. You know, this has what I want for walking in the woods. There isn't anything in Washington State that I can't take down with a 10 millimeter if I'm within a reasonable distance of it. If I'm walking around up by Mount St. Helens and I hear a weird sound, you know, I turn around and, oh look, there's Sasquatch. You know, God, I hope I'm never in that situation, but you know, I think this has the power to take down Bigfoot if I have to. And, you know, I'm not talking about some guy in a ghillie suit. You know, I'm talking about the real Sasquatch, you know, the real one that's out there. You all know about him. You know, he's friends with Santa Claus. But anyway, okay. But, you know, this will take down a cougar or a mountain lion if you prefer. And, you know, it will take down, I'm pretty sure, a black bear if I had to. I've never heard of an instance where, you know, a black bear's killed somebody. But, you know, you may want to protect yourself from one, you know, someday if you stumble upon, you know, a sow with some cubs, and if she's trying to protect, you know, her cubs to the death, you may want something on your side that's going to be able to protect you. You know, takedown on the G20 is exactly the same as, you know, it is on any other Glock. You know, you run your slide to the back, you pull your takedown lever down, you pull the trigger, the slide comes off. You've got your slide here. You've got your standard recoil spring. This is the stock one. I have not upgraded that. I've not found a need to. You've got your barrel. And this is dirty. I keep this thing dirty because, you know, this is my utility pistol. But I don't know if you guys can see in there or not, or if this is in view. But this has polygonal rifling in it. You know, it does not have your standard lands and grooves that you're going to find in, you know, most other barrels. And they say, at least from the marketing point of view, that, you know, the polygonal rifling means you're going to have, you know, better accuracy. You're going to get, you know, better gas pressure, which is going to in turn mean that you're going to, you know, have more reliable velocities coming out of your bullets. And so, you know, all those things sound great and fine. I don't have anything to back that up, but I can tell you the point of aim on this particular Glock is true. I don't have to aim at 230 to hit, you know, dead center. And, you know, I shoot primarily at about 25 feet because I like to do bowling pin matches. And at 25 feet, you know, I'm blasting, you know, the bowling pins clean off the table. And that's always a nice, satisfying thing. If there are any gripes I have on this thing, you know, and we're not talking aesthetics, you know, I prefer to have, you know, a sight system, you know, that's, you know, 3-dot, or, you know, I'm really liking fiber optic front sights on this. You know, that's kind of a weakness on it. The big gripe I have is, you know, the slide release. They're very thin. I don't know if you can see it in there, but, you know, even the extended slide releases they have available for these aren't even really all that great, but, you know, they are better than the stock one. The takedown, you know, mechanism here is, you know, really short. You know, it's kind of hard to get a hold of. You know, they do make ones that are wider that are better. I don't have any problems with the magazine release. A lot of people like to have an extended one, but I can find even with my hands that I can reach it okay. A lot of people complain that on the G20 Gen 3s like these, you know, the length of pull for the trigger is pretty substantial. I don't have an issue with that. Therefore, I did not need, you know, one of the new Glock 20 SF models, or the short frame, where you know you have, you know, some material that's been removed here, so you can, you know, get a little bit better handle on the trigger. But anyway, this is the G20. You know, I've been talking about it quite a bit here. You probably want to see some shooting of it and whatnot. But you know, judging a book by its cover has bit me before. It's bit me again. And you know, I'm really, really glad I got to take the time to get to know the Glock Gen 3 G20 a little bit better. I really do like this pistol, and I don't think I'm going to get rid of it anytime soon. So anyway, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys on the firing line. Now, if you liked what you saw here today, subscribe, like our video, and stick around and see what else we got coming up in the future. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you again real soon.